Aaron, you guys signed Ottavino today. Obviously, he's here and active. He had mentioned that he really had a rough start to his spring, but feels as though he's throwing the ball much better. What reports did you guys receive that made you want to sign him?
Yeah, that. He's kind of been on our board a little bit. I know the front office has been talking about him the last couple of weeks as a potential, but felt like what he was doing at the back end of spring training was in line with who Otto is. So, obviously with Devin, it felt like an opportunity to get him in here, and excited to have him back.
Did you have a chance to talk to him yet?
I did. I called him last night, and then I talked to him when he first got here today.
Will Warren getting the ball for the first time this season. Can you just describe the growth you've seen from him on the mound throughout the course of the spring? Yeah,
I think just continuing to kind of refine and sharpen his arsenal that I think continues to get better. I've said all spring, like he has everything to be really good as a starter. Now with the curveball, the changeup, that have become real pitches for him that should help him with both sides, left and right-handed. It's all there. There's no doubt in my mind that he's going to be a really good pitcher in this league. It's now it's about just continuing to limit mistakes, that next level of execution. We saw flashes of all of it last year. He also took his lumps last year, but I think also grew from it. He's a confident kid, and with everything to go out there and be effective. So if he executes, he'll give himself a good chance.
Andy, to the right.
Aaron, two things on Ottavino. When he was here the first time, what kind of while ago now, almost like a different time, a different team. What did he mean to that little era of your time here and those teams? And second, just for now, so the paternity list got him signed today.
Yeah.
Are you thinking of it like he's got a chance to stick, or you'd like to see him stick? Or
we'll see. We'll see. I think he's got a lot left in there. He's still been very effective really throughout his entire career. When we first got him, we brought him in to be kind of that righty killer, high leverage setup, and he delivered on that. And obviously, very familiar with what it takes to play here, and he's played here in the Mets and Boston, so this is what he knows. So there's a chance to get a quality pitcher in here, and hopefully he can help us. And where it goes, we'll see.
Brian. Oh, you good? Peter? Yeah, I got you. I see you.
Obviously, you're in the same division as Corbin Burns last year, but just what challenges does he present?
Yeah, he's one of the really good ones. And he's thrown some really good games against us over the years. I remember a game he pitched against us here for Milwaukee where he really cruised through. Anytime you're going up against an ace, he's one of those guys. So, known for his cutter, he's neutralizes both sides, lefties and righties. He has the ability to get off your barrel. That power cutter, though, is kind of his calling card. But, you got your work cut out for him. I'm happy he's not in our division anymore. But, I think we had a couple good battles with him last year. I think we even won one or two of them in some kind of low scoring where he pitched still pretty well. So, he's about as tough as they come.
Bruce.
Aaron, what do you make of all the attention the torpedo bats have here overall in terms of bringing to baseball what's been discussed over the last 72 hours?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of starting to smile at it a little more like, it's taken on a life of its own, a lot of things that aren't real, a lot of things that, I really just look at it as, the evolution of equipment. And, I think I said the other day how we, I went and got fitted for golf clubs 10 years ago. This is essentially that. It's all within regulation. So, there's a lot more to it than just I'll take the torpedo bat on the shelf over there, 34, 32. I mean, our guys are way more invested in it than that. It really personalized, really worked with our players and creating this stuff. But, it's equipment evolving.
Is your suggestion for a ball player to select the one that works for him, or are you going to go one way or another and recommend that bat over another bat?
I mean, I just think it's so much deeper than you're even asking that question. So to each their own. I mean, we want to create an environment where, we're not missing anything. We're not missing any chance to help a player become their best or optimize a player. And ultimately, it's up to the players, though. It's anything. How much information do you want? How much, that's on individual players and us also to help educate. But ultimately, it comes down to what works for you.
Michael and Jake.
Let's say, Aaron, that these bats are just a revelation and offense really picks up. In your opinion, is there a certain type of pitcher that would be a better type of pitcher to pitch against bats like this? A guy that maybe with breaking balls diving down and away against a right-handed batter, which you want anyway, but just to stay off the barrel of the bat?
I don't think so, but who knows where it goes. I think a little too much is made of, I think it's wrong to say like moving the sweet spot. It's not moving. Big leaguers don't not hit the ball off the barrel. Like the worst of big leaguers, they hit the ball off the barrel more than they. So you're trying to just optimize the weight of the bat and take out some wasted spots that you don't use, so I don't think necessarily pitching, but maybe down the road as this thing grows more and more, maybe there will be something to that. But I don't see that right now.
You pass it to Jake, Michael. Thank you.
A couple years ago, maybe 10 years ago or so, pitching kind of evolved a little bit where we saw pitchers relying more heavily on their best offerings. It seems like over the last couple of years, we've almost swung back where we're seeing pitchers with bigger and bigger and bigger arsenals, adding pitches and adding pitches. We saw Carlos Rodon throwing a sinker earlier this week. I'm curious if you've seen that shift over the last couple of years, and if you have, why you think the expanding of arsenals has happened.
Yeah, everyone's different. There's always going to be recommendations that our pitching group has for certain pitchers that, you've got to be able to evolve a little bit. Sometimes that means adding to an arsenal. But sometimes there's also those guys that are unique that we want to hammer home their strengths, especially some relievers where they're coming in a shorter burst. Just generally speaking, as a starter, you're going to have to broaden the repertoire a little bit, especially as you go through your career. And if you want to have longevity, you probably got to evolve a little bit. But everyone's a little bit different. And I would say, just generally speaking, certain relievers are going to be different than starters.
To the left, Chris.
How aware were you that Giancarlo and Trevino were using these last year? And were you at all curious with how they worked?
I was aware. What do you mean curious as to?
Because everybody's making a big deal about the bats,
Right.
like how they operate, if they actually help on the field. Like, were you at all curious with just some of the benefits that may come of this?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, and again, you're trying to just, where you can on the margins, move the needle a little bit, and that's really all you're going to do. It's not like, I don't think this is some revelation to where we're going to be, it's not related to the weekend we had, for example. I don't think it's that. Maybe in some cases for some players, it may help them incrementally. That's kind of how I view it.
Dan.
Aaron, you kind of just answered my question, but how much do you think what you guys did over the weekend has played a role into what's happened here, and how much of a role did the bats play in the weekend?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe on some level for somebody a little bit, but maybe not either. I don't know.
Joel.
Aaron, Goldschmidt is leading off for the second straight day against the righty. Have you settled on a leadoff? And if not, can you take us into more of a granular thought on, is there certain kind of righties you like him against, where it sets up the lineup in a certain way, where you're going to do this?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the case of we're just in a stretch of we face Nestor, Savali, Burns today, Gallen. All those guys are, obviously Nestor a traditional lefty, and then the latter three are all kind of neutral reverse split righties. So in that case, I'm just trying for a little bit of balance. So I don't think I'll do this every single day, but I'll kind of, depending on the opponent, depending on if I'm giving a guy a day or what our lineup looks like, what's their bullpen look like, how I want to space it out, where I might be able to pinch hit, things like that. So I think there's a chance you could see this a good bit, but I wouldn't say, I'm settling into this as an everyday necessarily.
Tyler.
Aaron, when you talk about making those incremental percentage points on the margin, if hitters now are going to get like golf club, fitting, it would stand to reason that across the league there would be better offense, right? I mean, do you think we'll see, now that this is, everybody knows about it, will we see like league-wide offensive numbers go up a little bit?
Maybe, but I don't know that necessarily everyone knows about it.
Don't you think they've heard about it the last few days?
Yeah, but I don't think that's different than knowing about it.
How so?
I think there's just a lot more that goes into it than just, again, I'll take the 34-32 torpedo bat over there. Give me Bellinger's bat. A lot went into to doing that for our individual guys, and it's a lot more than just the look of the bat.
In other words, it's the organizations can still make a difference, even though that everybody knows about the concept.
Correct. I think there's a lot more to it. Yes, that I don't even know all about. I'm not smart enough to know all that stuff, but I think there's more to it.
Michael and Julio.
Has Goldschmidt come up to you and said, I like this, I like to be in this position?
No. He's said from jump, like, hit me wherever you want. And if it's different the next day, doesn't matter to me. He's good. So I think he's open to it, and but he hasn't put it that way. But he's put it as hit me wherever you want.
Julio in the back center.
Hi, Aaron.
Hi.
Back to the bats. I heard the manager of Milwaukee, when they asked him the same question, he said they can do anything with the bat, but it's really the player.
Yeah. Ultimately, hopefully what doesn't get lost in this is it's about the player, it's about the hitter, it's about the person swinging it. So, understandably, I get it. It's getting a lot of attention right now, but yes, ultimately, when the dust settles here, it's about players performing.
If I can't hit a home run, I can't hit it with that bat.
Correct.